All right, we're going to try my power rankings for week 9. 32, we have the Titans, 1 and 7. 31, we have the Jets, 1 and 7. 30, we have the Saints, 1 and 7. They're just bad. Um, Not much better is 29, the Raiders, 2 and 5. 28, Dolphins, 2 and 6. They did finally get a win, somewhat of a quality win against the Falcons. Um, I think they beat the Jets earlier in the year, if I remember right. Not exactly quality win. 27, Browns, 2 and 6. They beat the Green Bay Packers. And then they beat the Miami Dolphins. So that's why they're above the Miami Dolphins right now. Otherwise, they haven't beat anybody. 26, Ravens, 2 and 5. We'll see if they make a comeback. They got a long ways to go. Um, we'll see. 25, Giants, 2 and 6. They beat a couple of good teams. Crazy. They almost beat the Broncos too. Um, I mean, they're right there. I guess. Too bad Scatterbo got hurt. We'll see what happens next couple weeks. 24, Commanders, 3 and 5. Um, Thought this was going to be a decent. A lot of people thought this was going to be a decent team. I didn't pay much attention to them that much last year. I do know that they're an older group. They got a lot of skilled players, but they're just not winning. Um, they got smoked by the Cowboys and the Chiefs in the last 2 games, so not good. 23 Cardinals, 2 and 5. Again, their 2 wins are against horrible teams. They're just not beating anybody quality. 22 Cowboys, 3, 4, and 1. Your best game was against the Packers, I would say, with a tie. 21 Bengals, 3 and 5. You got beat by the Jets. You just dropped 5 places. 20 Vikings, 3 and 4. What was that crap with Wentz? Vikings need to be investigated. 19 Panthers, 4 and 4. Just got smoked by the Bills. Just when I was thinking, these guys might not be that bad. 18 Bears, 4 and 3. Um, yeah, they lost to the Ravens. 17 Texans, 3 and 4. This team is better than this, I think. They got beat up by a lot of really good teams and like top 10, top 5 teams. 16 Falcons, 3 and 4. Got beat by the Dolphins. Ouch. They yeah. 15 Steelers, 4 and 3. God, they're just not impressive either. Nobody in the AFC North has impressed me at all in any way, shape, or form. 14 49ers, 5 and 3. They dropped 7. Yeah. They lost to the Texans, who've been struggling against good teams, and they beat you. So you must not be top tier. 13 Bills, 5 and 2. Dropped 2 just before the bye. They come back. They beat the Panthers. Big deal. 12 Chargers, 5 and 3. 3 and 0 in their division. I mean, I got to have them up here with their counterparts in the AFC West. Broncos, 11. They're 6 and 2. And just, I don't know. They're just not. I'm just not seeing them making it to the Super Bowl. Could they get to the playoffs? Probably. But they're going to have to beat the Chargers and they're going to have to beat the Chiefs. And I don't know if they can do that. Like I said, the Chargers are already 3-0. They beat both the Broncos and the Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders. So uh, they got a little bit of work to do to get on top of that division completely. 10 is the Chiefs, 5-3. They're on fire right now. They're in the top 10. Don't get mad because they're not number one. I mean, they're still 4-3, so settle down. Number 9, Jaguars, 4-3. They just got stomped by the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. Other than that, their only loss was to the Cincinnati Bengals, second game of the year. I think it was the second game. And that's when they had Burrow. Number 8, Patriots, 6-2. Patriots, again, just like the Bills, they've had a pretty soft schedule. They're getting it done, but it's not impressive. At least they beat the Bills, and they are, I believe, 2-0 in their division. 7, Packers, 5-1-1. You went toe to toe with the Cowboys. Big whoop. Ever since the first game of the year against the Lions, what have you done? Beating the Cardinals ain't enough. Beating the Steelers, still, that ain't enough. These are middling teams, middle to low teams, and you got beat by the Browns. Third game, I think that was third game, and then you tied the Cowboys. Those are not good teams. Not impressed yet. Lions, 5-2, same thing. You beat up on a lot of really bad teams, and I get it. You're going, and you did beat a quality team, but you also lost to a quality team. I guess if you count the Packers as a quality team, then you lost to them too. Yeah, yeah. What did I just say? They won against a quality team. They lost to 2 quality teams. 5 is the Rams, 5-2. They're up and down, up and down. They lost to the Colts and they lost to the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers game was a little. They should have won that game. We'll just say it that way. They should have won that game, but they didn't. Running back fumbled the ball as he was getting ready to go into the end zone. 4, Eagles, 6-2. They lost to the Giants, but they have played a lot of good teams in there. They have a winning record, 6-2. Yeah, I mean, they deserve to be in the top 5. They're winning games. They did have a little bit of a struggle there, but all the teams have. All the teams have had like issues here and there, and I wouldn't get too excited about the power rankings until like week 12, week 13. And number 3, Bucks, 6-2. They dropped down. They were on top, and then they got beat by the Lions, and they didn't look great against the Saints, but that's a divisional game, so I got to give them a little bit of a break there. Divisional games are tough, and it doesn't matter if the other team has a losing record or not. You have to play them because they are made to play against you. You have to win those games because there's 2, actually 6 from the whole division, but you play each team twice. You got to win them games. Half the time you split. That's just the way it is. Number 2, Seahawks, 5-2. This team, they lost to Tampa Bay in a really close heartbreaker at home. The only other loss is the first week against San Francisco. Um, they've been taking care of business against bad teams, and they played some pretty good teams, and they won. Um, it just depends on if you consider Texans a good team. I don't know. But the defense is scary, lights out, and their offense is clicking. You're talking about a top five offense and a top five defense, and there's several the teams that are on the top right now, the top five, top six, top eight, top 10, top 10. There are several teams in here that are just um, both sides of the ball. They're going. They're getting her done. Um, I got an idea who's going to be on the top five, six, seven. Um, you know, top 14. They're going to the playoffs, and there's a lot of good teams in the top 14. I don't know. We'll see in a couple weeks what happens. The bye weeks keep, making things kind of funky. After the bye weeks, that's kind of when I'm like, okay, let's see who's who after the bye weeks. And then everybody's going to be either rested up, they're going to have injuries, and we're going to get to see exactly who everybody is, I think. Right now, it's just a little bit up in the air. There's still some teams that I just want them to prove to me who they are. I mean, you look at some of these wins and some of these losses. Colts, 6 wins. Miami, not impressed. They totally destroyed them. They beat Denver in a close game. Tennessee destroyed them. Las Vegas destroyed them. Arizona. Uh, did they hold that close? I don't remember if that was a close one or not. Chargers. Arizona and Chargers are not horrible teams. And their one losses to the LA Rams, which is a top 10 team. You got the Bucks. They beat Atlanta, Houston, the Jets, Seattle, San Francisco, and they lost to Philadelphia and Detroit. You got the Seahawks. They beat Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Arizona, Jacksonville, Houston, who are like, Jacksonville was supposedly a good team. Everybody thought Pittsburgh was going to be a good team. They lost to San Francisco and lost to Tampa Bay. San Francisco was week one. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Anyways, Tampa Bay was a later game, but what people are doing now matters. But the Colts, the Bucks, the Seahawks, all are clicking. Defense, offense. Bucks have kind of like slowed down since their defeat to Detroit. You got the Eagles. Look at who they played. They played Dallas, division rival. They beat them. Kansas City, the Rams, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and they lost to Denver and the New York Giants, and then they just beat the Giants. So yeah, they're 2-1 in their division, but I mean, how do you gauge who beat who and who's good and who's not? Well, about this time of year, that's when you can start to gauge it. Who is good and who is not by who they've been getting beat by and what the record is. And Jaguars, they beat Carolina, they beat Houston, San Francisco, Kansas City, and they lost to Cincinnati in like the first 2 weeks when they still had Burrow. Um, they lost to Seattle and the Rams in the last 2 weeks before their bye. Um, Patriots, they beat Miami, Carolina, Buffalo, New Orleans, Tennessee. Not a great repertoire. They got beat by Las Vegas, not good. Pittsburgh, not the greatest team either. So, I can't like put them up in the top five. 49ers. Oh, well, let's go to the Packers. Packers, they beat Detroit, Washington, Cincinnati, and Arizona. Lost to Cleveland, lost to Dallas, or tied to Dallas. Chargers, they beat Kansas City, Las Vegas, Denver, Miami. Then they lost to New York Giants and Washington and Indianapolis. So, I mean, that's why they're below the Chiefs and the Broncos right now. Who they beat? Rams, they beat Houston, Tennessee, Indianapolis, Baltimore, Jacksonville. They lost to Philly and San Francisco. I mean, that ain't bad. Could be better, and it should be. Lions, they beat Chicago, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay. Not the greatest repertoire either. Tampa Bay, yeah, they were a good team, and then they got stomped by the Lions. But they also got beat by Green Bay in the first week and Kansas City later on. And, what can you say? Bills, Baltimore. They beat Baltimore, the Jets, Miami, New Orleans, and they lost to New England and Atlanta. That's not that great either. See what I'm saying? Broncos, they beat Tennessee, Cincinnati, Philadelphia. That's a good one. The Jets, the Giants. They got beat by Indy and the Chargers. Philly's a good win, but you lost to the other two that are good teams. Chiefs, they got beat by the Giants, Baltimore, Detroit, Las Vegas. Or no, they beat the Giants, Baltimore, Detroit, Las Vegas. You got one good win in there, Detroit. You got beat by the Chargers. You got beat by Philadelphia and Jacksonville. That's not that impressive to me yet. Sorry, you're in the top 10. You're hot right now, but and then you just beat Washington, but that's the thing is some of these wins aren't like some of these teams that people are putting at number one. I'm not impressed. Chiefs should not be at number one. No way. Broncos could be top 10 if you want them to be because of their record. But I'm not impressed. You're not top 5. Yeah, like the NFC West, they're been pretty lucky, but you look at the poor NFC South, they're just getting. Is it the NFC South or is it the AFC South? It's AFC South. They all have had to deal with the NFC West and the AFC West. Titans, they don't have a chance. I mean, it's ugly. Anyways, you guys can let me know what you think about my power rankings. I know there's a lot in the top 10 that people could argue about, and I could definitely see why, especially if your team ain't up there. A lot of people get angry about that, but you got to think about it fairly and just look at the schedule, look at who you played. Yes, I know you play who you play, and you don't have anything to do with that. But that has nothing to do with power rankings. That has to do with your record. Who gets seated where in the playoffs. Power rankings are not about that. So let me know in the comments what you think. Agree or disagree.